Hi everyone and welcome in Automation Fair in Anaheim. Today we're going to talk about energy and more specifically about energy transition. With me we have Rupesh, we have Michael and Jasper that are everyone experts in the energy world. And I would like to start by a simple fact today. It's clear that every companies, every industries are really looking at how to decrease their carbon footprint, how to decrease the energy they are using. And we believe in Rockwell that the energy transition that is at stake today is crucial for the people, for humanity, and a very good opportunity of business as well for us. So maybe let's start by the first question, and that will be for you, Rupesh. What means energy for Rockwell at the end? When we define energy, what does it mean for you and for Rockwell?
Thank you, Seb. Just before maybe I answer that question, a few words about why we're thinking of energy now rather than traditional fossil fuels or oil and gas and chemicals.
Oh, yes.
Our customers have changed and transitioned from being traditional fossil fuel-based oil and gas producers to energy companies. So they've placed big bets in things like lithium, carbon capture, hydrogen, areas like this, which were not traditionally part of their portfolios. That makes them more relevant to their stakeholders and their end markets. So we in turn have done the same. So within energy now, we have our oil and gas practice, we have our mining and metals practice, carbon capture, hydrogen, as well as water.
Okay, so that is what we call energy for Rockwell. And Mike, when we talk about energy transition, what does it mean exactly as energy transition?
Yes, so thanks, Seb. Again, as Rupesh said, it is a transition. So people who tend to think that we're going to change from one source of energy to another overnight, it's not going to happen. So these types of energy uses, both fossil and hydrogen, solar, wind, battery, these types of energies will have to coexist together, they'll be optimized, and it will allow them to shift over time from one to the other. So it's truly a transition, and that's why it belongs together with energy, because they have to play together to actually make the transition happen.
And energy transition means we have to move everything on renewable. Is that the idea? Or?
No. It's the ideal is to reduce our carbon footprint across the globe, but energy is not just electricity. So it's all the energy in oil and gas. The majority of that energy is used for things like chemical and other things. So those things need to be in the ecosystem now and in the future. That's why, again, working together will make those most efficient and the least possible carbon impact.
Okay. So the idea of today's discussion as well is how us in Rockwell are we helping this customer, this energy customer, to fast track, go faster, accelerate this energy transition. Maybe Jasper, can you tell us about in Cubic, for instance, what are we doing to support, I don't know, the renewable maybe market or our customers as well, end users, to decrease their carbon footprint? How does it work?
Cubic have been a partner for the energy business for almost like 30 years, supporting our partners with, you can say, energy optimized solutions based on the unique business model of Cubic, a model that actually enable a flat pack solution to the partners, so reducing the carbon footprint in terms of transportation. On site, the design that we have created together with the partners have called out a less carbon footprint as the design is optimized, so the power loss will be less and less. So a different way to optimize energy, but that is what we have been doing for 30 years successfully.
Thank you. What do we apply in terms of digital technology or automation-specific technology to fast-track the energy transition? I don't know, Rupesh, Michael, if you can stand.
So I can start. One thing is, we all know that a lot of the transition technologies, at least, are challenged from a cost standpoint. So one of the biggest barriers to adoption is cost. And one of the largest...
Because they are not economically viable.
Correct. Okay. And one of the biggest enablers to cost reduction is scale. And one of the biggest enablers of scale is automation. So, and automation, not just from being able to make more with less people and faster and more repeatability, it's actually using the information you collect from the manufacturing process to inform your R&D roadmaps, to actually improve the process, whatever you're making, make it more efficient, make it more practical. Whether it's the efficiency of a solar panel, whether it's the efficiency of a hydrogen electrolyzer, or the energy efficiency of a carbon capture unit. So all of these things work together to actually make these things possible. And unless we reach a cost point that makes sense from a business standpoint, these things will go away without subsidies. And that's why it's so critically important.
So all is about scalability.
Absolutely.
That is very clear. Maybe, do you have some clear examples of some project that we've done that we can talk publicly on how we help on energy transition?
Yeah, thank you. Certainly in the lower 48 part of the United States, in the Permian Basin, we're seeing customers rapidly electrify their oil fields, whereas they were traditionally using diesel generation or process gas, produced gas. They're transitioning that now to a fully electrically driven well pads. So that's obviously reducing their carbon footprint. We're also seeing customers invest in point source carbon capture at the wellhead to reduce flare, and also then obviously making the environment much more clean, but leveraging our technologies to help do that and manage that fleet of flare gas and bring it down in terms of the emissions.
Okay, thanks. Jasper, do you see any barrier to the adoption of this technology by the end users or by the ecosystem of end users?
I would say a barrier is the ability to scale, like you addressed before. If the scalability is not around and you can't support it, then you for sure have an issue. So scalability.
Scalability is an issue. You see some others?
Yeah, so for me, if I look at even the traditional energy production, a lot of that is based on legacy infrastructure that's really not compatible with modern digital technology. So one of the things we can do there is instead of waiting for a full rip and replace, we can do things like a hybrid model where we start to slowly, gradually introduce new technology into these systems and gradually switch them over. I think the other thing is we need to highlight pilot projects that demonstrate a really positive ROI for these systems to encourage it. And I think at the end of the day, we're probably going to need some government and industry subsidies to encourage modernization. I think the second one, if I speak specifically about renewable energy, is the very intermittent nature of renewable energy makes it very difficult to integrate with the current sources of energy generation. So what we can do about that intermittency, one of the things is that we can use AI, for instance, to develop prediction models for weather and so forth to make them more predictable so that they can plan the integration, plan the usage of these new sources better. The other thing we can do is we absolutely need to deploy large-scale energy storage. Energy storage has to be there because otherwise it removes the intermittency problem altogether. And then last, I think for that, we could use AI to actually orchestrate all of these energy sources, the full portfolio together to make sure that we're using the right ones at the right time that maximize both the cost profile as well as the carbon impact. And then I think one last one is with digitization, I think people get fearful of their cyber security vulnerabilities. We absolutely positively, and from my experience, need a very robust cyber framework that is energy specific. Because generalized cyber policies are pretty restrictive in getting the energy assets deployed.
Clear. Thank you for all this input, gentlemen, and don't take it bad. I will use a bit your words and how you summarize and how we understand a bit that. And we see, if I remember well in Rockwell, how we're going to use automation and how we're going to use digitization based on 4 pillars of what customers has to do, right, to ensure that they do. And the first one, if I remember well again, the first one is to ensure that we are decarbonizing their operation, and I believe you talk about it with the premium basin and how it works. The second one is that we need to reduce and remove the CO2 from the air. I believe we have very good example as well with the DAC one, for instance, of Oxy in South Texas, right here in Texas. Then the third thing, is we need to ensure that we are using less energy and we are putting more efficient process and we are helping our customers to have a process more efficient right at the end. And the last one, we talk about it, Jasper, right? And I know Cubic has a quite large market share on that side as well, is boosting, accelerating the adoption and the installation of green energy, of clean energy. Renewable is there, but hydrogen as well is there, and we have a good example here on the booth on how we can help. Thanks a lot for answering my question and for all your great insight.
Welcome.
Thanks a lot for listening to us. I hope you enjoyed the video, and talk to you later.
And you know that another interesting thing that